Turn 8, quite a good turn. I did 4 fights. First one was against the Vault of Knowlede, and I'm going to show it to you because it's not an easy fight. So I faced 3 apprentices and 2 wisps, and among the apprentices there was 1 draconian apprentice who was firebomb. So you really have to be careful with this guy because he can damage many of your units and you have to spread yourself. And also Vault of Knowlede has a very powerful battle enchantment, Static Electricity, which both give 20% shock weakness to your units and also give static shield to the defenders. So it means you need to avoid melee combat as much as possible. Also, you should not assess the damage based on normal tactical fights because you've got plus 20%, more or less plus 20% damage done by the apprentice and by the wisps and also by the baby shock serpent, because apprentices usually have some shock damage, except the draconian one who has fire damage. So what I did was to split them as usual, but first, because they didn't attack me at the beginning, so first I buffed my units. I used Oaken Spirit on the vampire spider baby and then on the other animal. Touch of Face on the Swarm Darter, and I chose the Swarm Darter because it could be buffed to very cheerful. You really need, it's not, Touch of Face is not only about the bonus and resistance, it's also about getting to best, oh it's not very cheerful, sorry, it's best morale to get more critical hits. And critical hits on Swarm Darters are very, very devastating, so that's why I choose to give it to him and not, for instance, to my Warg Rider. At the same time, also, it's good to have high resistance for the Swarm Darters because they have low HP, and the apprentices are going to do a lot of elemental damage, which are compared to the resistance. So Touch of Face on Swarm Darter is usually very good for the criticals on Swarm Darters, but it's also especially good in this site. So I used Awakened Spirit on the tiger, and then I send the tiger there. Try to split the Draconian apprentice toward here, and maybe this guy also, and the 2 other ones toward me. Then I'm going to engage and kill the wisp to avoid it phasing behind me. And I will also do my best to befriend the baby shock serpent and to put all the chances on my side. I'm going to use Disgusting Stench from the Dread Monkey, which gives -1 resistance and also -300 happiness. So -1 resistance means 5% more chance of succeeding with the befriend animal. So I'm killing the wisp with my Swarm Darter and Theocrat and Leader, and I'm trying to position myself to avoid taking too much damage from the Draconian, but didn't manage to do perfectly because I had to fire, so 2 of my units are going to be targeted by the Draconian. And I didn't manage my splits as I wanted because I gave him 2 units to hit and I had to move close, so he moved toward me and not toward the tiger. But the other apprentice, the Orc apprentice, moved toward the tiger, so still it was a useful split. 2 apprentices instead of 3 is already a big difference. Then I retreat, because here it's a bit dangerous and the 3rd apprentice could move back very quickly. I heal, and I moved my swarm, healed, and then continued to move. You should not always heal at the end of the movement of your units, because if you do that, then the two units are adjacent, and when you fight a dragon apprentice, it's very dangerous. So here I moved to avoid two units being hit by the dragon apprentice at the same time. I scatter my units to avoid being hit by the fire bomb, but actually I didn't see this, so it was not voluntary, and two of my units are too close. So of course it targets them first because it maximizes damage. With my tiger, you can see I'm retreating, because tiger vs apprentice is a bit too dangerous, especially with static shield and battle enchantment. Then at this point I can just kill the two apprentices with 2 units each, more or less, and sending my warg there. It's a slightly dangerous plan, except if I manage the web, and I did manage the web with 35% chance of success, so I was lucky. I used this stench to flank an open flank for the Swarm Darter, and also it increased the damage, the blight damage, but I didn't remember this when I did it. And I finish it with Pimpton. Open a flank for my warg with my leader, and then just send the warg. But I forgot something I said at the beginning of the fight. It's that you should always stay out of melee combat in this site because of the static shield. So I was not lucky and got stunned. And then at this point I was like, I'm in trouble, because this Draconian apprentice can just move toward my leader and potentially kill it if he gets lucky. He had enough damage to kill it, but didn't do this, and instead he went for the maximum damage on the baby shock serpent. Oh no, sorry. On the warg rider. Okay. So I was also afraid the warg rider might die, but it was okay. And then the end of the fight is not so complicated, and I position my my Dread Monkey next to the baby shock serpent, as I said, to increase the chance of lesser befallen animal. I have 60% chance of success, and I succeeded. Then I just finished the fight. So splitting, good positioning, avoiding melee combat, using Disgusting Stench efficiently, webbing efficiently, and then you can just clear this site. Then I did 2 other fights. One was against the Scoundrels. At the beginning I didn't want to do it because it drained some of my movement points, but because my baby shock serpent was alone and could not move, as he was converted this turn, it would have probably been killed on the because baby shock serpent will be a key point of my strategy to evolve it into a king shock serpent. So I killed these guys and healed on the process a bit, and I sent only my units that have wetland walking or my spider that I summoned this turn. It's a summon from this turn, and so which adds more movement points. Then I did a scroll stack. It's a bit similar to the Vault of Knowlede, but easier because there is no static shield. And eventually I did Brigand Hideout with the Assassin, and it was easy fight, and because I could easily split them, I healed, and I sent my wetland walking, cave crawling unit this mana node. I received Swarm Darter as a reward from the Brigand Hideout, as well as 1 item, which is not very useful, but still. Frosting Fishing Spear, so maybe I will sell it. And so I put it in garrison, and so I cancelled my hunter that I had planned, because now I've got a garrison, and so I'm doing the shooting ground and then the hunters. I'm going to clear that next turn and then move back. And with these units, I'm going to try to clear these two sides, maybe this turn on, or I will wait for my other units, we'll see. With my boar on the surface, I'm continuing to explore. I guess the dwelling must be here on the okay, it's a scroll on the fertile plains. At my new outpost, I'm producing a builder's hall, and I've got 200 free research from the scroll and the Vault of Knowledge, and I hesitated a bit. I'd like to get the Empire upgrade that gives me more movement points, but for now I'm going to take Hasty Plunder to try to find terraforming, because I've got 2 destruction adept skills on my skill book, so it's more likely that one will not be replaced by a destruction adept skill, and so I may have the terraforming, and then also next turn I should be able to, in one turn I should be able to finish a 60 research point research, and so I'm going to research Druidry or basic seafaring. So let's do this. The new one, Wildlife Refuge, which is also nice, but I can research it in 3 turns later, so let's... Yeah, sorry, I mean 2 turns for the 60-point research. So let's do a 60-point research for now. And I'm going to take Druidry, I think, because basic seafaring is not useful with my swimming units. So, that's it.